20th Century Motorcar Corporation is a name well, actually, in terms of car manufacturers, you probably haven't heard of them. Who the heck are they? Well, this is a fun video. A really fun video. Because I've been doing a lot of corporate history. Been doing a lot of scammers. Now I get to do both. Because 20th Century Motorcar Corporation is basically just a front for an outright scam involving a car. This car. The Dale. A futuristic, modern, game-changing vehicle that was gonna revolutionize cars forever. Also, no, it did not. At all. But let's get more on topic here and focus on the scammer themselves. Geraldine Michael. Fantastic mugshot. Great. Already off to a good start. Was born in 1927 in Indiana, and outside of serving in the military, was basically a career criminal, mostly involving straight-up theft, or he was even accused of being involved in a counterfeiting operation. But even outside of his particular interest in the illegal side of things, he also was kind of a complete piece of crap. If I'm being completely honest. This dude was married 4 friggin' times. He was charged with desertion when he was stationed in Germany after he left his first wife, Marga, and their 2 children. Then in 1954, he would marry a woman named Juanita, with whom he had 2 more children before leaving her in 1956. Then in 1958, he married a woman named Betty Sweets after only knowing her for a month. They would have 1 daughter, but the marriage ended within a year, and then in 1959, he would get married again to Vivian Barrett Michael, who he would somehow manage to have 5 children with. Okay, we're already off to a rip-roaring start, but in 1961, he'd be arrested on that counterfeiting charge in Los Angeles, California. He would jump bail and go on the run in 62. Oh, right, I keep saying he. Gonna have to switch pronouns now to she. Jerry would fake a serious car accident to shed his former identity and start living as a trans woman, going by the name Geraldine Elizabeth Carmichael, or just Liz. She was still with her last wife, Vivian, but often introduced her as her secretary. So yeah, okay, whatever. By 1973, she was still on the run and was working at the United States Marketing Institute, or USMI, in LA. That's when she met a man named Dale Clift. And Dale on his own had been working on something, a new design for a car. In his case, it was a 3-wheeled car, meant for very low fuel consumption. And I'm sure many people will point out that a 3-wheeled car seems like a bad idea because of the Reliant Robin, but the Top Gear guys totally made that car flip just for comedic effect and not because it would actually do that on a regular basis. The Robin actually didn't have balance issues, not nearly to the point that people seem to think, and a 3-wheeled car can work. Liz felt the design had merit, and by had merit, I mean definitely could lead into her next big score, because this is a criminal who's looking to make as much money as possible off of lies. She and Dale would leave USMI to form the 20th Century Motorcar Corporation and begin to market and seek investment for the car, dubbed the Dale, named after Dale Clift, which is nice. He named it after the inventor. Also, boy howdy, things are gonna go off the rails if they haven't already. This train has not been on the track since the very beginning. Liz began to use her gender identity to her advantage, pointing out that she was a simple farm girl who came from rural Indiana, rising from her humble roots to get a degree in engineering at the Ohio State University. She also met and married a NASA scientist who later died tragically. Don't ask his name because we don't want to talk about that. And though she was grieving the loss of her husband, she would eventually meet the talented and imaginative engineer named Dale Leon Clift, And together they would work to create this amazing, magical car. And by magical, I mean really, this thing had to have been magic based off of how Liz portrayed it. At the Los Angeles International Auto Show in late 1973, in the middle of the 1970s oil crisis, so people were looking for gas-efficient vehicles, she touted it as being untippable, with the center of gravity within the triangle formed by the three wheels. She advertised it as being ingeniously simple, with every single component able to be replaced in 30 minutes or less, which, okay, listen, I do some of my own car maintenance, and my brother-in-law is an actual mechanic, and ridiculous already. Okay, she claimed that the Dale needed no wiring at all. No wires anywhere whatsoever. Why do you need wires for? Well, for a lot of things in a car, actually. Well, she said it used a printed circuit dashboard, and that meant it didn't need any wires, which... No, No, you still need wires to attach to the board. Why would... What? That doesn't even make sense. Also, the car was not made of typical automotive materials. No. It was made of aerospace plastic called Rigidex, used for, like, spaceships and stuff. It was rocket structural resin that could withstand a 50-mile-per-hour impact with a brick wall. No! No. But outside of all this insanity, the most unbelievable claim about the Dale was that it would have a 70 miles per gallon fuel economy and be sold at a price of just $2,000. What? Okay, couple things. First of all, I know that's $2,000 in 1970s money, but that's still like nickels and dimes for a car. Also, 70 miles per gallon. I don't think even hybrid cars can manage that. What? This was based off of it using an 850cc motorcycle engine that was air-cooled. That could push it to a blistering 85 miles per hour. Which, I don't even believe that much. This is all ridiculous. There's no way that this was ever gonna work. Even if you only have a basic understanding of car mechanics, if you apply any amount of critical thought, none of this made any sense at all. But people ate it up. Not just the car, but Liz herself. She was labeled as the first female CEO of an automotive company, and stories were written up on her in Newsweek, People magazine, and Johnny Carson even mentioned her on The Tonight Show. She continued to tout her amazing magic vehicle, expecting sales of 88,000 cars within the first year and 250,000 in the second. She also claimed, on the record, that she personally got in the Dale and drove it into a wall at 30 miles per hour. And as a result, there was no structural damage to the car or to her. You absolutely did not do that, even if this car could move. No, you didn't. That didn't happen. All right, none of this happened. I mean, I know I keep saying this is all ridiculous. I've said that many, many times. You know it's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. You know what's coming. This is all fake. And basically, yeah, pretty much. California regulators were looking into the company because somebody in charge had to know that something sketchy was going on here, and they weren't wrong. They began looking into 20th Century Motors' financial dealings and found some pretty suspicious stuff, basically. It wasn't operating at all like an automotive manufacturer would. It didn't make any sense. Rumors started circulating about the staff in the company, which included Carmichael's assistant and PR director, William Miller, allegedly having ties to the mob. This particular element would get a lot more attention when he turned up dead in his office with 4 bullets in his head. Oh, okay. Alright. Now things are getting real. An investigative news team made a surprise visit to the company's manufacturing location and found no workers, no machine tools, and no cars at all. Also, Liz was gone too. She ran off. She took the investor money and ran away. Clift was investigated, but it was found that he actually probably didn't even know that any fraud was being taken place. He even admitted he still believed in the project, and pointed out that he was promised $3 million in royalties once the Dale went into production. He only ever received $1,001 plus a $2,000 check, which bounced. So, yeah. This had run off. But as amazing as it is, she actually just tried to pull the same scam somewhere else, like immediately. She ran off to Texas, where she began promoting the Dale again, just renaming it the Revit. She even managed to get the game show, The Price is Right, to feature the Revit. But this drew immediate attention from California regulars who were like, wait a minute, that's just the... Where is she? And yeah, they found her. She was arrested outside of Dallas. This is when her past was really found out. And after a 2-year investigation and trial, she was convicted in 1975 on the charges that had been committed while she was still presenting as a man. While appealing that part of the case, a $50,000 bail was posted by someone who was apparently described as a mysterious perfume merchant. What? What is happening? Well, this merchant was a television producer who just wanted exclusive rights to the story because, well, it was pretty insane. Carmichael would agree, and then promptly vanished again. Yep. Peace out. And this time she disappeared for quite a long time. On the run from 31 counts of grand theft, fraud, and corporate securities violations. She was even featured in a 1989 episode of Unsolved Mysteries, which is actually the reason she was even caught at all. 2 weeks after the episode aired, a tip from one of the viewers led police to... Are you kidding me? Dale, Texas. What? Is this some kind of hyperfixation? I don't understand. Like, okay. She was working in a flower shop under the alias Catherine Elizabeth Johnson, and promptly arrested, extradited, tried, and sent to prison. She was sentenced to 32 months, released, and, well, pretty much fell off from there. As far as anyone seems to know, she never tried any scams again, at least not on a level such as this. She would later die of cancer in February of 2004, and as far as the Dale is concerned, well, believe it or not, there are still 2 surviving examples. Sources float around as to whether there were ever 2 or 3 prototypes made, but only one was ever able to move under its own power. That particular model is in the hands of a private collector, and the other remains in the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles, California. I doubt this car ever would have been nearly as good as Carmichael had been claiming, but it's definitely a wild story regardless. Personally, I'm just surprised she even bothered to make 3 prototypes. Like, why bother with 3? Like, you weren't taking this seriously. You were your scammer. That's all you were. You abandoned your wives and children. You scammed an inventor out of his design. You scammed a whole bunch of investors out of their money. Then you ran off and started selling flowers in a town called Dale. That is your life. Okay? Till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.